Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know if y'all can see me, if you can hear me. Oh, my light's over here. My light's over here. All right. All right. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. I think they said I shared a video on the last podcast episode and it went out. On it's on over there. So I could see. All right. I put together a good show for you. Shout out to everybody that's in here and came back for the latest buzz. It's still the off season, but there's a lot of buzz happening. Tonight we're getting into Shedeur Sanders surviving the Browns. He was giving some advice. We'll take a look at that. Buffs are saying goodbye to Dom. Have some footage for that. I said if I had any more footage, I would share it. So I think the pregame show, I have a snippet from Coach Prime's practice. And I took a look. I was already kind of watching it. I was watching Nick Cannon and Coach Prime on the big drive. So I have some takeaways from the big drive. And then we're going to start. We're going to start with the NBA and the Atlanta Falcons because I'm sorry, this is good. I wanted to get to T.I. and his family, this and 50 Cent, but it was just never any time. But I got to slide this in. So let's get right on into it. Come on in. Hopefully you got your snacks. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Promotions I have ever seen on March 16th. And it is not going over very well with the public. So we all know that at sporting events, sometimes the teams will do certain theme nights, like retro night or superhero night or pet night or whatever it is, something very family friendly to get the community out and buy tickets to the game. Well, on Monday, March 16th, the Atlanta Hawks played the Magic at home, and they were really sitting in their marketing room just thinking to themselves, what can we do to get the community out and support the Atlanta Hawks? Do we do something about Bird night? No, we can't do that. Just a regular family night? No, that's too generic. Oh, I know what we should do. We're going to make it a Magic City Monday. Now, what is Magic City? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is the world famous gentleman's club of Atlanta, who also is very well known for their lemon pepper wings. Yep, they are making a strip club face of their game against the Orlando Magic. And for a team that's about as average gets, with only a 73% chance to get more than 40 wins on Kalshi, this looks like it's just desperation to sell tickets. Now, the fact that they're going to do this came out about 5 days ago, but it's just now picking up steam, especially within the NBA. And some NBA players, like Spurs' Luke Cornett, are not happy about this. And Luke, who graduated from Harvard, is asking the Atlanta Hawks to cancel this promotional night with Magic City. I'm going to give you about 3 seconds to pause the video, so I'm just...
All right, so you got the gist of it. I guess it's March 16th. I thought it was March 6th. I was like, okay, should I go and get footage and bring it back to the community? All right, so the Atlanta Hawks have Magic City Monday. I guess it's March 16th. Now, when I first heard this, I was like, what? Now, if you pay attention to any of the ads that come on social media, they have these game apps, these apps where you can buy tickets. And I noticed they kept calling the Atlanta Hawks games game night. They kept saying, get your tickets for game night, like kind of trying to make it a couples thing. And I said, oh, they must be moving away from the family theme. And then enters a couple of weeks later, Magic City Monday. Now, Magic City is a landmark in this town. Apparently, they have very versatile clientele, dancers, strip club. And the NBA tickets are expensive. So I think maybe in Atlanta, because I can confirm that when you go to marquee games like the Lakers, the Celtics, the Knicks, or the Cavs, they got James Harden, that those games have a club-like atmosphere. I've said that before I moved here, right? So I get it. I get it. It's an adult area. They have like a lounge. They have bars in the areas on the floor. Like there's a bar to the back. It's like a hawk shaped thing. It's sponsored by like Delta Airlines. They're like in the VIP sections. They have bars up there with drinks. You can get you some champagne, drinks, really good food, filet mignon, really, really good, right? So I get it. This is an adult. It's upscale. We want people to come and be at a vibe. We don't just want them to, come watch a basketball game. They want to elevate it to more like if you're in Vegas at the Wynn watching the game, or what is it, the Reliance Stadium. Reliance Stadium in Vegas has Club Wynn, real high end, right? Just think Dubai inside the stadium, right? One of those things. So, the Hawks are trying to get that appeal too, and there's a lot of money in this city. So they want to appeal more to adults. Hence, Magic City Monday. Now, I was just at the skating rink probably maybe last year, and Magic City came through, and the girls were there, and the security, and they were upstairs. There's a bar at the skating rink. See, that's the thing about Atlanta. Everything they want to turn into a club. That's just the vibe of the city. And I don't care what restaurant you go to, they got a bar. People gonna want to frequent the bar more than they frequent uh the restaurant. Case in point, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. When I started decided if I wanted to move here, like commuting, I went to Ruth Chris Steakhouse in Buckhead, and I sit at the bar when I travel. I don't sit at the table. I sit at the bar, and I was just amazed. I was like, oh, it's like a bar in here, right? So that's Atlanta. Period. Anything to do with adults, it's gonna be a bar somewhere. It's gonna be a vibe. And I've said it before. Atlanta has a huge bar scene. If you paid attention to Atlanta Hawks games, right on the floor where they have their celebrities, they have these little tables that are sponsored, like bar tables, sponsored by like beer makers and stuff like that. So they were already heading in this direction. But I don't know about the strip club thing. That's a little different. Club vibe, sure, right? Atlanta's always been known for having swanky bars, right? But the strip club, see, strip club culture in the South, like in Memphis, that's a thing. But Memphis doesn't have as much to offer as Atlanta. And Atlanta, wants to be a cosmopolitan city. So I kind of think maybe that's the wrong direction to go because, as I said, they were at the skating rink and it just wasn't, it wasn't kid friendly. I mean, it was adult night anyway. I would do it. I just wouldn't do it, right? So let me know your thoughts. One of the Spurs players, the guy he was talking about, I put this in the community chat. He didn't like it. He said it's disrespectful to women. I mean, yeah. But then when I was at the Hawks game, I was thinking, right? I showed you I was at the Hawks game. It was a lot of men. I mean, in fact, somebody put in the comments under this video I was watching. I hear what you're saying, brother. But the fans, the Hawks fans in Atlanta are excited. And another guy came into the comments and said, "Yeah, we are excited." So let me know your thoughts. Let me know I think it's the wrong direction. I'm okay with adults, type events, but the strip club that's kind of X-rated, right? So that's beyond adults. That's beyond adults. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on. Somebody's at the door. Just hold on one second. So I just, having seen them come to the skating rink, I just wouldn't do it. Y'all let me know your thoughts. All right, we gonna move on. All right, so shout out to y'all for coming back. We did our Dubai podcast probably about an hour and a half ago, maybe. All right. So next on my list, let me know what you think about the Hawks. I don't think they're gonna cancel it, but it's March 16th. Stay tuned. The question is, should I go and get video to come back to share for the community? Let me know your thoughts. Yes or no? Should Nola Girl go to the game to see what Magic City Monday looked like? And I could maybe interview some people. Ooh, that would be good. That would be good. I love to interview people. I was going into Kroger. No cap. Going into Kroger and I saw a dude with an Atlanta Hawks sweater on. I swear, I started to stop everything and record on my phone and say, what do you think about the Hawks, the Falcons hiring Kevin Stefanski? And this was the entry and exit of the grocery store. So it wasn't even a convenience. But I'll get somebody else. This was about the Falcons. So yeah, I'm always down for a good interview. All right. So moving on. All right. So we started off kind of high because we kind of got to dip into something a little bit more serious. Okay. So the Colorado Buffs started to say goodbye to Dom, and Coach Prime had practice today. And at practice, he was asking the team if they wanted to practice, and there was some teary eyes there as to be expected. I didn't notice the seat, like if his chair was empty or anything. But let's take a look at a video. Before I get into that video, let me share something with y'all, okay? Because this could be heavy, right? I didn't want to share the footage. In the comments, you'll notice there's 2 sets of links today that I shared with you. One set of links that I shared is Shedeur saying it's highlights because we're going to talk about it because I can't really show the highlights. But the other link that I shared was for a story about Tesla fires. Now, y'all know that Dom was driving a Tesla, and I could have showed this video, but out of respect and people's hearts are heavy, including my own. I just shared the link so you can go watch the story. So what it is that Tesla has several lawsuits, like a lot of lawsuits behind its vehicles, especially when they crash, because two things take place. It seems that when they crash and hit something like a pole or something, they catch on fire. And we know in Dom's situation, they said his car lost control, hit a guardrail, hit a pole, and then rolled down an embankment. Now, if Dom was driving, according to these lawsuits, it's alleging that Teslas catch on fire and trap the victims inside, trap the passengers inside because of the way the car is made. And there's a lot of this is happening, right? And one of the stories that I'm sharing with you happened to a family, and I've been reading, and it's a lot, guys. And I told somebody who said, speed might have been a problem. I'm like, sure, understand this. When they manufacture cars, they test for crashes, right? If Dom were driving a standard Toyota Camry, not an EV, just a standard Toyota Camry, and he had hit a lost control around a curve, hit a guardrail, maybe hit a pole, and rolled down an embankment, that would have just been it, right? There's no trapped in the car because, you can easily get the doors unlocked. See, sometimes there's too much technology, right? And sometimes the way that technology is wired, if you notice, people talk about Tesla, how when you set up your car, they have this thing that they automatically want to schedule all of the maintenance and start charging you for it. And of course, they have cameras in the car, which can be very helpful. And yes, while you could be speeding, they know when they build cars, what happens if it happens at this speed. So one of the things I learned about the fires is that it takes the fire department special training to put out the fire. So one, there's excessive fires after crashes, which is not typical all the time. Two, once the crash happens, the locks are not easily accessible and or opened when people are panicked, or if somebody can manage to get out, trying to break the glass to get people out so they die in the car. And three, when the first responders come on the scene, if they don't know how to put out the fire in that particular car, which is apparently different from a lot of others, then there's that issue. So he was driving a 2023 Tesla, and I'm hoping his father is aware. Shout out to JJ, who came in the comments and told me, and I went to do some research, and this is true. And it's something his father should really look into. So we don't know at what point when the fire department arrived, what the status of everything was. But since he was driving a Tesla, and Tesla currently faces multiple lawsuits and increasing regulatory scrutiny regarding fatal post-crash fires. It said these legal challenges primarily focus on defective door designs that allegedly trap occupants inside burning vehicles when electronic systems fail. That's what I meant by too much technology, right? And most of the other cars that we have access to, we can hit the button and it'll unlock, right? Tesla's not necessarily that way. I've been in an Uber Tesla trying to figure out how do I get out of here, right? So blessings to the family, but that is some information that hopefully the father becomes aware of and consults with lawyers, and they can look to see, because listen, some of y'all drive Teslas and y'all may have not known this. I didn't know this, and I've just taken Tesla Ubers, but you need to know this. You need to know, and it's not like they're going to advertise and tell you. You have to look for the fine print sometimes. Sometimes the fine print is not there. So for those of you that are still with us and drive Teslas, you need to do your research. There's a website called Tesla, I think, -fires.com, or you could just Google it, right? But start with the link that I shared so you can see what's at stake here, because we don't always know when we're going to be in an accident. We don't always crash into things. Sometimes things crash into us. Okay. So the bus were saying goodbye to Dom, and this is a video to share. I think it's from the pregame show. Let's take a look with Coach Prime consoling the players because yes, they were heavy, and I have some screenshots I took. I haven't put it together yet of all the players like Julian, Ben Finessett shared video where they were on vacation would look like their girlfriends or their partners, and they were jet skiing together. So this definitely hit people. Colton Allen, remember Colton Allen was a quarterback last year. He said he didn't know where to start. He just can't imagine. So with him not being there, these players are really hurting. And I understand because last night I had to go work out. It was like at midnight, but I still, managed to get a workout in just because I needed to redirect my thoughts. My heart was so heavy. I started to post it, but I was like, that's how much I didn't even want to post it, right? And I don't consider myself an influencer, but I wanted to say, remember self-care, guys. I didn't even do it because it was heavy, and it was heavy until about earlier today. So once I started getting back into the Dubai conversation, that's what kind of pulled me out of it. So, make sure you take care of your mental, guys. Grief is you can experience grief even if you didn't know the person. If were familiar with that person and their life journey, you can still grieve. So don't let anybody tell you different. All right, so here we go. This is Coach Prime, and I believe it's the Buffs. At least I believe it is anyway. Just that I believe it's the right one. Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Yeah, that was it. Okay, to make sure. Okay, that's it right here. So that was it. I did 100% certain. Here we go.
Grief is real, shock is real, questions are real, but so is love and so is legacy. The measure of a man is not just how he plays the game. In this case, it's how a young brother impacted the life and the impact that he had on the team. And that doesn't disappear because of a life that ended this soon.
Yeah, man. He was a character, humor, work ethic, tenacity. Something that just hold us through the night. I never seen Dom have a bad day. Never seen him not smiling. I never seen him not in a joyful mood. I truly miss him already.
One thing I can remember about Dom sharing his why is he was all about his today. Understand how important that your today is. That goes for everybody in this room. Today is the most important thing that we have. And the best way to honor that is to do all you can with the time that you have.
That's it. That's truly it, right? And it hurts when it's always, and it just seems like it's always the good people, right? It seems like we just always manage to lose the really good people. Like they said, Dom never had a bad day. And there was a photo of him sitting next to Shedeur learning when Travis and Shedeur was still there. And I just thought about him being a student of the game, right? And so many people sharing so many wonderful, thoughts about him and being such a wonderful person. And then when people added that he was adopted, that's a different perspective, right? You have a different perspective in life there. And he just, seemed like what I thought he was, just a really good guy. And it just really hurt that we lost such a really good guy at a time. Well, I was looking forward to thinking that he was going to get an opportunity this year, right? And I just had to tell myself, we're allowed to borrow people, right? We don't get to possess anybody, and nothing is forever. And it's just a reminder, right? To tell your people, that you love them, give the people their flowers, and let's treasure people. I think one of the things somebody was saying was we often worry about, I think it was Colton Allen, just such trivial things. And when we wake up and to news like this, it just hurts, right? It makes all of those trivial things seem less, and we'd rather have the person there, right? We'd rather have the person there. So you know, give yourself some grace if your heart still feels heavy and you might think it's weird. It's not, right? It's not. This young man was special, right? And you don't have to be the life of the room, the life of the party, you know, for to be special to people. And he just seemed patient and loyal and, you know, invested, right? So I was thinking maybe, you know, the guys probably put 22 on their cleats or something like that. He's not somebody that we want to forget. I can honestly say that. I mentally don't want to let him go because, you know, when I was looking into what JJ said in the comments about the Tesla, you know, I was like, I don't know if I want to mention it because, you know, it's just, we just so sad right now. And something was like, I'm gonna need you to mention this. I was like, okay. So I did my research and I'm glad I looked into it because one of you may drive a Tesla, right? And his father may see this one day, or somebody else may see it, or he may hear it from somebody. Hey, you know, I heard your son drove a Tesla. Did you know? Right. So God has his ways and people that he used, and I believe that I'm one of them, right? And so I decided to share it, but I couldn't share the footage of the accident that is on the link. I think it was in Germany. But there, guys, there's so many stories of the families that have been trapped in these cars, not just individual people. This is not anything to ignore. This is a situation with these cars that is going under the radar unless people sue, and it's not talked about. And people love these cars. They talk about the cyber trucks have the same problem, the cars. So it's indicative of the brand. And y'all know that brand isn't going to be talked like that way. So this is where you get your education, right? They call it YouTube University for a reason. So if you drive a Tesla, do your research, tesla-fires.com, or just Google it. All right. So shout out to Coach Prime for getting the coaches and consoling the players. And, you know, we said they'll probably meet with people. I'm happy that Coach Prime asked them if they wanted to practice today. And they did say yes out of love and respect for Dom. And I think, you know I want to dedicate our season, you know, of watching them to him. It's all about the 22, you know, deuce. And, you know, I'm seeing long live Dom, long live deuce, long live 22, right? So that's a special young man in our hearts. And we want him to remain there. And the lesson from that is for you Tesla drivers, look into it. Look into it. Could be one of your loved ones, could be you. Just look into it. All right. Moving on to my next topic. I think I had like 5 or 6 today. I think it's still Coach Prime because he was with Nick Cannon. So shout out to Coach Prime. He was with Nick Cannon on the Big Drive. And it seemed like a promo type show where they're driving in this Jeep Wagoneer, and Coach Prime and Nick Cannon are having a conversation about life. So let me tell you what my takeaways were, and I have a snippet of it. So let's see. Did I get rid of that? Let's see. Oh, here's it right here. Here it is right here. So I like what Nick Cannon said when he started off by saying he admires Coach Prime. That's the first thing he said that caught my attention. And that's actually what made me watch the show. I had it on in the house. You know how things just come on YouTube. And I heard him say, you know, I really admire you. But then I heard the baby daddy conversation. And shout out to Coach Prime and Nick Cannon for this real candid conversation. So let's get into this.
Different ways, but like the difference between and I heard you say this in multiple different ways, but like the difference between a baby daddy and a father. Yeah. And that one hit me differently just based off of, obviously I've been called both. Right. You know what I mean? So in that sense, break that down, man. Like the difference between the goals of you want us to be fathers and not just baby daddy.
I want us to be there. You don't have to be in the house to be there. You don't have to be at the house to be there, because you house or you're in the house and ain't even there. I've been there before.
Yeah.
You got to be there. Like the Bible says, my sheep know his voice. Like you got to know his voice. I don't even have to be around my kids, but I can feel them in my spirit. When they're at need, when they're at want, when they're hurting, when they're bleeding inside, I can feel them because I'm a father.
Yeah.
I'm not a baby daddy. Baby daddy is just making installments.
Right.
Occasionally showing up.
Right.
You know, not really playing their role, but playing.
Right.
So that's a baby daddy.
Not playing their role, but role playing.
Role playing. Yeah, I'm a father, man. I'm a father.
That's powerful, man.
So shout out to Coach Prime and Nick Cannon for a candid conversation. Let's talk about the takeaways. Okay, yes, it was the baby daddy conversation, but it was also the role in a relationship as one of their partners, since they have children, right? Listen to men. We always hear women talk about, you know, the roles that their partners have to play in their life. You have to accept the kids and things like that. But then we just had two men to talk about it. So that was one of the takeaways also. And then another one of the takeaways was that Coach Prime said Shedeur was at the batting cage in Miami. And I'm like, rubbing my hands like Birdman, because we're going to get that content. Because remember last year, he was at the batting cage. All right, so back to the baby daddy. And shout out to all the fathers in the chat. Shout out to y'all that have raised your children, that are raising your children, that are maybe, you know, involved in your grandchildren's life. It's not a hard decision. Like Coach Prime says, some people just make installments, and the installments might not even be monetary. Unfortunately, that can be the case, right? So when Coach Prime said, you know, he's been on both sides. He's been the side where he's, you know, there are fathers that are in the house, but they weren't present. Now, one of the things I noticed about Coach Prime, he always speaks highly of his father, I believe, and his stepfather, Buddy, or something like that. He has great respect for these men. So he talked about how they were hard workers, and I guess, you know, they raised him up right. And it sounds like they all co-parented, his mom, his dad, and his stepdad. So shout out to them for that. And he talked about the parent that's in the house, but that is not there. That is the parent that lacks emotional IQ. And that is more harmful than being absent. Oh, man, when I tell you, and for Coach Prime to admit that, you know, he had been through that is huge, because he don't have to admit that. But he talks about, you don't have to be in the house. You know, you don't have to be in the house with the father. Y'all let me know, share your perspective if you can relate to what he's saying. You know, that his kids live with him, but like Bucky didn't. Look at how close Coach Prime and Bucky are now. So for those of you that don't have relationships with your children now, or maybe when they were younger, just that's hope to know that God has a way of bringing these relationships back together. Because I think today he posted that his left-hand man, I think he said, was Bucky. And man, Bucky is always there. And I'm like, and the funny thing is, Bucky said he didn't live with Coach Prime. It was the other kids. So Bucky had to watch those kids on TV until he came, you know, into the show and things like that, and, you know, visiting. He never lived with him. But then look now, right? Look now. See, things change. That's why I say the way things are today, they may not be tomorrow. So Coach Prime is right. You know, you don't have to be in the house with the father. You have to be in tune with your children, right? You have to be in tune with your children. And there will come a day tables will change, and you might need them, right? You might need them. And it's true. Some people really do think that, well, I provided, I gave money, that's enough. They forgot the emotional part, the I love you, son, or, you know, throwing the basketball around with the son, or, you know, talking to the son about the birds and the bees, just letting him out there figure it out himself, letting him being okay with him staying outside till 2 and 3 in the morning, not really caring about him, sometimes using and exploiting into the nefarious actions that they're into, right? So I thought that was a good conversation. If you haven't watched it, it's on Nick Cannon's Big Drive. Now, the second takeaway I thought caught my attention, and I was getting ready for this show. It was when he was talking about relationships, and Coach Prime led the conversation by, I don't know if he was talking about Carucci, but he was talking about partners. He said she has to know her place in the relationship, because this is not a game. This is life. And, you know, I have children and the job and this, that, and the other. And Nick said, yeah, because I'm going to need a certain kind of support because I have children, you know. So they're talking about the type of people that they date, and, the type of perspective these women have to have, that, there are other things that come before you in a relationship. And I will go back to my base segment with Karuchi and Coach Prime when she was in the airport, and the guy, it was just with Karuchi, and the guy was saying, "Hey, Coach Prime posted about you today." She's like, "Did he?" and she said, "Well, yeah, he has, his job, his children." And I picked up on, that's a lot. So she's kind of shocked that maybe they can't get like they want to be. And after that, then we started seeing them. So he saw that, right? He saw that. And while Coach Prime's kids are little, that's why I said the relationship with the other lady, Miss Tracy, who I used to follow, who's a very nice woman, I just always never thought it was two-sided. I felt like, she gave to be a part of his life, but his life was the priority because of his children, then his career, then his relationship. And as women, we have to decide what it is we're going to accept. And I do think it was her mother that told her the relationship was one-sided, but she decided to persist in that relationship. And maybe she thought there would be a day where none of those things would be at the forefront. But then Colorado came along. That was at, Jackson State or at Trinity. Then Colorado comes along. Who knows? Another league might come along. He might start his own league, right? Yes, his kids are older, so he has more time, but his career, right? His career. And when they went on that train journey, they talked about how he works a lot. And he thanked her and everybody that, put the trip together, because after he had cancer, it changed his perspective that he needs to start enjoying the now. So that's the difference between the relationships. Now, the people are likely different now, have no firsthand knowledge of that. But he's at a different place in life, because sometimes women will look and say, well, why, when I was with this guy, he didn't want to get married. He didn't want to settle like this. He wouldn't take time like this. That's what happens when cancer enters the conversation, or any type of, terminal illness, perceived terminal illness. It changes your perspective. And he talked about that's what changed his perspective. And, she's the person he's with. And, it seemed to me after she made that comment at the airport, we saw her at Colorado. So it's almost like he was giving off of, I don't have time for you. And she kind of recognized that. And she said that. And he was like, I'm going to make time for you. And then we see them more and more together, right? And everybody started talking about how cute they are as a couple, how I do think she has the right temperament for him. He's the Leo male, fiery, got, out front, whatever. I mean, she's famous, but she doesn't seem to reach for the spotlight. She doesn't reach for the fame. She doesn't, she does her what she's always been doing. And she's doing it on her social media at the same pace that she's been doing it, right? It's not like she's trying to get a cooking show out of it. She's not trying to be an influencer out of it. She's just having fun. She's just having fun. So Nick Cannon, I thought it was great that he paired up with Coach Prime. I know he has his own father, but Nick Cannon, I think he was joking. He talked about his dad was a pimp. And I said, well, that might explain all these kids. But I think it's great that Nick and Coach Prime have connected, because he has 12 children? Is it 12? And I haven't heard, he's not a deadbeat, right? We heard that he makes the time because he has the resources to get there. Now the question is, what happens when he gets to a place, because he might never, if he were, for whatever unforeseeable reason, get to a place where Cam Newton was. Remember Cam Newton said, yeah, I can't provide for my kids like I used to. And I think he has 8 kids, right? So it's good that he knows Coach Prime now, because if something comes up, I can kind of see that being the big uncle type relationship. Because like I said, Nick has a father, but Coach Prime could definitely be like an uncle figure to help, guide him, because things are going well now, but anything could change, right? Health, we know he has sickle cell. And I think they said they found the cure for sickle cell, or something like that, or they this close, right? So I liked the connection. I liked the genuineness of their conversations about the baby daddy and about putting boundaries in place as men when they are in relationships to protect their relationships with their children and to protect their careers with women that they are not married to. I can't tell you I've heard people talk about that before. I think that's pretty good. So shout out to Nick and Coach Prime for that. Hopefully we'll get more from them in the future. Of course, let me know your thoughts. What were your takeaways from the big drive with Nick Cannon and Coach Prime? All right. So moving right along. And don't forget, Shedeur Sanders is at a batting cage in Miami, according to Coach Prime. So be on the lookout for that content. And if y'all see before I do, let me know. Let me know. Let's move on into anybody but Shedeur Sanders surviving the Browns. This week, it is Carson Beck. And, you know, I'm just going to say this. Shady McCoy, we're going to listen to him, gave Shedeur advice. And we're going to talk about it when we get to the video. While it's true, you know, it's anybody but Shedeur, fans who, like myself, not paying attention to the combine, have been watching Shedeur Sanders highlights. And whether I want to watch them or not, they keep popping up in my YouTube feed for obvious reasons. You know, right here and all the content. So I was watching Shedeur's highlights and I was reading the comments. I always read the comments. And people were pissed, talking about, you see how good he is? And this is a shame that he is this good and they are saying this and setting him up to look bad and all these types of things and holding him back. And my takeaway was shame on the NFL and shame on the Cleveland Browns, who are miserable because they are depriving the fans of elite competitive football by holding Shedeur back, by openly sabotaging him when Stefanski was the head coach, and now by quietly sabotaging him. You just don't know just yet because it's quiet. It's on the low. Yes. All of this conversation talking about this quarterback, that quarterback, it's just disrespectful. And at what point when people are handing out advice to Shedeur, do they discuss the disrespect or do they stay neutral? Don't touch on the disrespect. You have a young man navigating treacherous, harmful waters because he is an elite Black quarterback, and that is not what the NFL is interested in right now based on their own behavior. And it's not just Shedeur. It's already happening to 2026, hence all of the quarterbacks going back to college. The fact that they had Dante Moore as a late first-round pick or a second-round pick and Trinidad Chambliss as a day 3 pick. But Mendoza at the 1 tells you they're not interested in elite quarterbacks. They want check down kings, but they haven't said it out loud. And then the Browns are so miserable. They're so miserable because they have all of this talent that's leading the way, but it's Black. It's Myles Garrett, Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fannin Jr. Somebody had the audacity to put Jerry Jeudy in there. Denzel Ward, Devin Bush. All of their stars are Black. And then you add Shedeur. All of their stars are Black. They so miserable. They'll accept all those other guys because they're not quarterbacks. But when it comes to a Black quarterback who can help them win and get to the playoffs and made it to the playoff hunt, they did everything imaginable and unimaginable to exit the playoffs. They are so miserable. The Browns are just unserious. They are miserable because their stars of their football team in the NFL, which is the majority Black, are Black. And they're willing to accept the stardom at the positions that are not the most important position on the team. So somebody said, I wonder what advice Coach Prime is giving Shedeur. I have no idea, but I'm sure it involves God. And I think about what I believe about God is when he opened the door, you stay there. But understand this. Yes, you can stay there, but that don't mean you're going to get hurt. See, God can, what does it say? Joy without understanding through the pain. I don't think it's God's will for Shedeur just to be hurt repeatedly, to end up with 2 double ACLs or out for the season due to injury that was planned, because he's quietly being sabotaged. Did you hear the way they talked about his gift? They said it was a Godfather type gift. Remember, I looked up the meaning of the horse head that was given to him, and it's respect and admiration. They couldn't Google that. They had to take the negative because they don't want to talk about him in a positive manner, and that's the media. And did the recipient of the gift make it any better? Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it's my wife. I was like, what is this? And y'all still think he has Shedeur's best interest at heart. He has his own best interest at heart. And that's not being on the record as a saboteur like Stefanski. I'm just wondering if there's anybody, whether they tell us or not, that's talking to him about what it is he needs to look out for this coming season, because they are quietly sabotaging you. And if you follow God to stay, you're going to need God to protect you. And chances are their goal is likely to make sure you're either unavailable, like Deshaun, or to pit you against another black quarterback. It was going to be Dante Moore, or it was going to be Trinidad when Dante Moore went back to school. But now that Trinidad went back to school, there's another black quarterback that's not Malik Willis, that's not Kyler Murray, that's just popped up on the radar. And they asked him to work out as a wide receiver at the combine. Last time I heard that, it was Lamar Jackson. This kid ran a 4.35 as a quarterback. Is it Jalen Green or Taylor Green from Arkansas? I think that might be his name. Yeah, I think that might be his name. It's the kid from Arkansas. Yep. Even though that kid ran a 4.35, what did Mendoza run? So in the 26th class, one of the quarterbacks that garnered attention at the combine, that's black, was asked to work out as a wide receiver. And he said, nope, I'm a quarterback. Now that's who probably could end up in Cleveland, because they looking for somebody. They looking to put these black quarterbacks together. That's sabotage. And that's not just Shedeur. That's Deshaun preventing him from having an opportunity. That's Shedeur lessening his opportunity and rotating all three, or only playing the two, and you don't have any good intentions for either. And you will devalue all three of them because they did it in 2024. Jameis Winston, Deshaun Watson, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is no longer in the league. You see Jameis Winston career. He wasn't the one or the two this season until Russell got moved out the way. Jackson Dart got injured. And then when he finally gets the opportunity and he puts the game in position where they could win or continue to fight for the win through overtime, his wide receiver stopped running on his route. So what does that tell you? They're looking for their third black quarterback like they already had in 2024 under Stefanski. And in 2 years, one of them will be out of the league. Is that going to be the kid I just mentioned that they want to be a wide receiver, to work out as a wide receiver? And like Lamar, he said no. And look at Lamar's career since he said no. Is it going to be Jameis Winston, which is Shedeur? I'm going to send you to a team and use you for likes and clicks, because I have said it multiple times. They use Jameis Winston like he's something to keep them entertained. And while Shedeur doesn't entertain them, they get likes and clicks. Or is it going to be Deshaun? I doubt if it's Deshaun, because Shedeur does not make $46 million. So there's no incentive. There's no incentive. His contract is only $1 million. You're not gonna do all of that and take the backlash from it for an insurance company to pay him $1 million. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna do that yourself. So I'm gonna go with Jameis Winston. And the other person will be devalued and shipped on out and gone from the league in 2 years. This is a playbook. Everything that they're getting ready to do, they've already done. They're just doing it with Monken instead of Stefanski because Stefanski became a legal liability. And Monken has, in my opinion, put it out there. I'm not willing to be on the record to sabotage him. So they just going to use the 2024 playbook. The Browns are hella disrespectful. And after studying other things, Dubai, talking about their sports, watching other sports, NASCAR, it's just so free. And I know NASCAR has had their issues, but it just really highlights just how racist the NFL is, how right Brian Flores' lawsuit, how valid it is. And it makes you don't even want to talk about it. Shedeur Sanders' highlights, if you go watch them, will piss you off because you will see that he was good at Colorado and his NFL highlights are good. Remember, they rushed to post them. So if he's so good, why isn't they talking about anybody but Shedeur? Tyrod Taylor, Dante Moore, thank God he went back to school. Trinidad Shambliss, thank God he went back to school. Ty Simpson or Samson from Alabama. Oh, I think Ty said that no, Carson Beck, his OC was Monken at Georgia. So I'd be stoked to go to the Browns. That's him. And I told y'all they don't even talk about him in the draft. And I looked, they got him way down there. They got him like day 3. So of course he'd be happy to go to Browns with a first round pick. Of course he would. They're not even talking about Mendoza other than the fact they kind of moved off of that after he told us that the team he met with unofficially told him that he needed to get arrested so he could file in the draft. And I said, hell, because how many times did that happen to black players for real? Thank you for telling us. Hadn't heard much. Hadn't heard much. Still hadn't heard Geno Smith's name since he popped up in the Epstein files. Because they was calling him trash before, but it's just crickets now. I read something, and Shedeur came to mind. It says, when they don't value you, they will never create an opportunity for you to be successful. That's facts. So while he's still going to be there, he's in harm's way, dealing with people who, even though last year he played and we saw him have limited ability to be successful because they capped it off. They also told you something else. What did Haslam say to Coach Bryant? Let's just say Shedeur has a good game. So they were letting his father and us know that, like a switch, they control whether or not he's going to have a good game. So they want him to be thirsty. And the danger of him staying in this league is losing himself. We don't see it right now. And he would have to make peace with letting it go in his heart. And I'm still here because this is where God wants me to be. Because if he don't let it go in his heart while he's still present, they gonna get it. They gonna get it. So if he lets it go in his heart, when they set him up again publicly, because he's being sabotaged quietly, hopefully he don't get hurt this time. One of the things about Shedeur, through it all at Colorado, we never saw him constantly injured. I think we've seen Travis injured more than we've seen Shedeur injured. Am I right? So he's not injury prone. I would hate for him to become that, because the body can only handle so much. And I think once those injuries start coming in, That's what they use to devalue you. Look at Michael Peters Jr. Oh, he should just retire. Look at Deshaun. Oh, he washed up. I asked the question, how many white quarterbacks do y'all ask to switch off to wide receiver? Pay attention to the Arkansas quarterback that they asked to work out as a wide receiver, like they did Lamar, and he said no, like Lamar did. Pay attention to what happens to him in the draft, running a 4.35 as a quarterback, which meant he got an arm and legs. But the NFL has not said out loud, we don't want no more dual threats. But they're showing you with the Tyler Shaws. They're showing you with Mendoza. So I just wonder if anybody on the inside who's been through this before or watched a black quarterback or any quarterback go through this type of public sabotage to devalue and now private, quiet sabotage to devalue, give him advice on how to survive the sabotage. He don't need advice on how to survive a goddamn competition that he already won. He need advice on how to survive this sabotage, keep his head above water mentally, and keep his body healthy. Because the goal is to devalue you. And if people don't have these conversations, they're being disingenuous. This young man does not need to learn how to compete. This young man needs to learn how to stay safe from a miserable team that does not want him to lead on the most important position of the team because he is black. And people need to admit that all of this disrespect, anybody but Shedeur, is because he is black. His highlights in the NFL prove what they proved at Colorado, what they proved at Jackson State, that he is a phenom of a quarterback. And it is disgusting to just sit people watch and do nothing to fix this situation or to stop them from sabotaging this kid and devaluing his career. It's disgusting. So it's still Surviving the Browns season 2. The episode we're on is Anybody But Shedeur. And it's anybody but Shedeur because Shedeur is black. Y'all don't understand that when they talk about Tyrod Taylor and Malik Willis, they trying to devalue them too. They're going to split up the games against 3 black quarterbacks so none of them can be the starter. So none of them will be important. So none of them will be the most important position on the team. It's due to racism. People need to start talking about the racism is the reason for the disrespect. The racism is the reason for the sabotage from Stefanski. The racism is the reason for the quiet sabotage we're getting ready to see of Shedeur's career, Deshaun's career, and any of the third quarterbacks that they get ready to put over there, whether it comes from the draft or whether it comes from free agency. It doesn't matter. It's disrespect. It's so that no one black quarterback will be the starter in Cleveland, and that's the owner. So the owner is the reason for the disrespect and the sabotage. It is due to racism. So it's time for a new owner. It is so disingenuous to talk about everything but the racism when that's exactly what it is. And that's what it's always been. So now we got to watch this kid from Arkansas be devalued because, like Lamar, he don't want to switch off from quarterback to wide receiver. How many white quarterbacks been asked to switch off? Constantly devaluing black quarterbacks. While they in college, Trinidad Shambliss, they damn sure tried to kick him out. Bryce Underwood got him on camera. You know what happened at Colorado. Jalen Milroe and Shedeur before that totally ignored Cam Ward and had a hissy fit when Caleb didn't want to come out into the draft in 24. And when he got to the league, he was sacked 72 times. And you know what the question was coming into the 25 draft? How many times will Shedeur be sacked? See, fans even know excessive sacks are meant to harm these black quarterbacks. But nobody will talk about it. So disingenuous. And it's, to me, it's just cowardly. Why y'all can't stand up for these young black men that look like you when you played the game and you know what they went through because you was right there watching? Listening to people talk about how the Browns have already had stacked teams in terms of talent and wasted it. When Deshaun Kaiser was a quarterback, look at who played for the Browns. They had a lot of talent. They always have a lot of talent. They always have a lot of talent. It's a lot of black talent, but they don't want a black quarterback unless it's 3 of them. So none of them are the most important person on the team. See, people can't see through that. They're going to be like, how can you say that they don't want a black quarterback when they got 3? I'm like, because you dumb and don't get the fact that none of them are considered the starter. And that's the holy grail. The starter has leverage. The starter has influence. You think they're going to let all 3 quarterbacks bring in their receivers? No. People can't see through the optics to see the racism. But I know people that played the game know. And their advice to this young man should be, look, you know how to compete. But what you maybe didn't know before that you learned last year is that the sabotage will still be there. And you need to learn how to survive the sabotage. And you need to talk to the guys that have been before you. And when you figure it out, then you need to help the ones coming behind you, like this kid from Arkansas. Lamar Jackson ought to reach out to him right now. Yeah, you got to pull the next one up because they're trying to push all of y'all down. I'm hoping these conversations are being had in private because if not, it is cowardly. It's cowardly, fellas. You know it's racism. And if you can't say it's racism and you don't work there no more, I don't know how you expect anybody or this league to get better. It's just going to get worse before it get much better. If y'all can't be genuine about the racism and the sabotage that Shedeur is facing and give advice on how to survive that. And to get it, y'all going to need to work together. Those past and present. So this week, flavor of the week, Carson Beck. Shedeur is better than all of them. That's why it's so disrespectful. And the fact that the Browns act like they can't see Shedeur, even though he was over there last year. Remember, Shedeur has done more than any Browns quarterback, period. And for those people that are saying, well, they just have to say that. No, they don't. No, they don't. The Browns don't have to act like Shedeur is not the person they want to commit to. They clearly already committed to somebody else, and you're going to see. It's just not going to be this year. They just looking for another bridge quarterback. They've been looking for bridge quarterbacks. Every time they get a black quarterback, they want it to be a bridge. So they don't take it seriously. And the sad part is the cruelty of Deshaun Kaiser. And I said, because Shedeur has 20 million fans, they can't treat him like that. So that's his saving grace. And it will be again this year. But the conversation isn't to compete. If God leave you there, compete. Is it right? Absolutely not. But if you're going to be there and you think God left you there, then compete. It's how to survive the sabotage. That's what you need to learn how to survive because you got a new coach. So you're going to have to look at the sabotage coming from a different direction. Now you're getting ready to deal with quiet sabotage. The public sabotage is what got Stefanski voted as the worst quarterback in the NFL. And Monken ain't going for that. I can tell. But is he okay with the quiet sabotage? Yes, because he did it to Lamar. And the whole damn team. And guess who got fired? Zachary Orr. Does he have a job yet? The defensive coordinator from the Browns? Monken got elevated. He didn't technically lose his job, even though it appears on the surface that he did. Because Harbaugh called it. The Browns were always there. Right. And you know who else is always there? The Manning kid. So let's see if they use their first round picks for next year to see if they could just trade those away to get that first pick for next year. People like, are they going to tank? I'm like, I would think tanking is out the window. So you're going to have to use them incestuously close relationships that the owners have for what they going to call the good of the league to get the Manning kid to Cleveland, who has the most inroads. Monken, Peyton Manning, Haslam, Jimmy Sexton, Tom Telesco. That's everybody. Then they already got that. They already got that. And I told you to look at who just got signed at Tennessee from Colorado. And I know y'all like, huh? Stay tuned. Y'all didn't think it was strange that one of Colorado's former quarterbacks ended up being recruited by the SEC and of all schools, Tennessee, coming out in 2027 with you know who from Texas. They both could end up right there in Cleveland. So it's not whether to compete or not. Because if you're going to stay there, then that's what they're forcing you to do. If you trade, that's what they're forcing you to do. It's how to survive the quiet sabotage. You know who the players were last year. You're going to have some new players this year and some players from last year. It's just growing. And it will continue to grow because they're not going to change their racist minds. They never have. They didn't change them from Deshaun Kaiser. That was 2015. 2016, 2017. It's 2026. That's 10 years. And they haven't changed their minds. So, all right, let's get into this advice from Shady McCoy about Shedeur. And y'all let me know what you think about the advice that he is giving. All right, so all right, just making sure you can see my screen. And you can. Perfect. All right, let's go.
Don't be nervous. I talked to Shedeur. I'm like, yo, you shouldn't care who they bring in. You should want them to bring somebody else. Because if they do, that brings the best in you. Always said, like, competition is the best thing for a player. True. If you want to see how good a player is, bring somebody in that's decent. And you'll see how he responds. Does he quit and puts his tail between his legs, or he go out there on his shield? So I like that for sure. I don't think he's going to be nervous at all. And then with the Browns, they're trying to figure things out, right? Yeah. Like in this draft, who do you really love? I mean, at quarterback, yeah, I don't really love no quarterbacks in this draft. No, I was at the combine doing some things with the NFL and et cetera, and I had a chance to talk to some of the players and look at them and talk to them and see their physique and how they threw up close, and I wasn't blown away. I truly wasn't. Don't be nervous.
All right, so let's break this down real quick because it's two things that immediately jumped out. The Browns ain't trying to figure shit out. What were they trying to figure out at the trade deadline? Not a goddamn thing, because they didn't make no moves. When he said I was doing some things for the NFL, I went, oh, okay. So did we lose Shady McCoy and his genuine commentary? The Browns not trying to figure nothing out. They have already figured it out. Shedeur doesn't fit. The third person they get, if it's not Ty Sampson, if they're black, they don't fit either. They're just like a warehouse for quarterbacks. Like a Sam's Club for quarterbacks. We just have all the quarterbacks that are black, storing them over here. When you have your own show and you can't speak out, I don't know what to tell you. So what, we're going to have to wait? Who going to do it? Emmitt Smith talked about how Shedeur was done wrong. Facts. So if we know that Shedeur was done wrong, why is it that we're giving him advice? Sure, compete. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be nervous. Why are we not talking about, well, he was sabotaged last year. Will he be sabotaged this year? You can ask the question. You can do the research and say, well, he was sabotaged last year. And with the new coach, we're seeing quiet sabotage this year because the Browns do not want Shedeur to be their starting quarterback, and that's based on their behavior and their sabotage toward Shedeur, because you do not sabotage quarterbacks, your own quarterback, you want to succeed. Have you ever heard anybody play for this league say that? And this is why things will never change. You know what I said last when we were talking about Shedeur And I said, it amazes me at how many people were around and available and they couldn't do shit. And it's year 2. And the talking points are no different than last year. Competition, competition, competition. That ain't even right. Why isn't the talking point, well, he shouldn't be competing because he won the competition last year? He should be competing because he's done more as a quarterback than any quarterback for the Browns. Where are those talking points from people that played this game or played this game? But I guess when you say things, and no disrespect to Shady, because I like Shady, but we just got to call it what it is. When you say I was doing something for the NFL, can't you see? Or you don't know that we see? That's why your commentary is no longer genuine. It's not genuine. This thing about Shedeur being nervous. Are we serious right now? We're talking about this kid like he doesn't have history in the NFL or in college. We're talking about somebody who's unflappable. Talking about he should compete. So we're just talking to be talking. We're not actually trying to make things better. We're just talking because we're doing things for the NFL. That's why they found something for your ass to do. How many times have you heard me say they will find something for them to do? So they found something for Shady McCoy to do, and therefore we have lost his genuine commentary. It's a damn shame. But I guess that's why nobody can do shit, because they don't want to lose shit. So maybe when people willing to risk something for what's right, maybe things will begin to change. It's disgusting. So we're going to go through this, and I'm going to stop right at the point where I'm like, this ain't right. So yeah, we've lost the genuine commentary from Shady McCoy because the NFL found something for him to do.
Don't be nervous. I talked to Shedeur. I'm like, yo, you shouldn't care who they bring in. You should want them to bring somebody else. Because if they do, that brings the best in you. Always said, like, competition is the best thing for a player. True.
Like the competition is going to, 1, be fair. Like 2, it's going to matter. The fact that he doesn't even mention that, Shedeur ought to leave these folks on red. Just leave these damn folks on red, bro. They not helpful to you. You know you can compete. Telling you something you already know is futile. And personally, I've said it before. I don't know where Shedeur is going or what guy got planned for him, but he letting you know who can't go. Because he can't go. His advice is no longer valuable because he's not genuine. It's disingenuous. He shouldn't even be talking about Shedeur competing. So since they found something for Shady to do, that they asked Shady to push Shedeur into accepting that it's okay to compete for some shit you've already competed for and won, and they didn't give a damn, and they set you up and sabotaged you openly. I can't imagine what it is like to be stuck in an environment where nobody will do shit to help a horrible situation. I won't talk to none of them. And I would be like, God, if you want me to be here, just make the floor wet and the carpet dry. Because that's impossible, right? Only God can do that. And if that's what you want, then I'm going to go in here. And it's going to be me and you. And I pray you make it so I can wait well. And don't talk to none of them. Just go do your job and see who gravitates towards you, and don't trust none of them until you see that you can trust them. And remember what your daddy taught you. Consistency is key. Trust is not earned in 1 game or 2. When people show you who they are, believe it the first time. They all want to be so associated with this damn raggedy ass league that they can't even stand up for a quarterback whose career is being destroyed due to racism. The same racism that they done had to face. They want to be associated with it like it's Dubai. It ain't. It's not. That shield is tarnished because the racism, they being bold with it. When you have your own show and you can't even be honest, you are of value to the people coming behind you or to the people already on the ground? Who gonna reach out to this kid from Arkansas? Because they getting ready to Lamar Jackson him. Who gonna reach out to Shedeur before mucking Lamar Jackson him? We ain't talking about can he compete. He should not be competing, and that is your talking point. The disrespect should be the talking point. But I guess they found something for you to do. Shameful. Just shameful.
If you want to see how good a player is, bring somebody in that's decent, and you'll see how he responds. Does he quit and puts his tail between his legs, or he go out there on his shield? So I like that for sure. I don't think he's going to be nervous at all. And then with the Browns, they're trying to figure things out,
Bullshit.
right? Like in this draft.
What the hell are the Browns trying to figure out? How to sabotage Shedeur again? That's about it, right? Because they're not trying to win shit. They already know what they want to do next year. What they trying to figure out? Be honest. What are the Browns trying to figure out? They already have their quarterback. They already have their leader. They already have a winner. They already have the best quarterback they've had in decades. So what are they trying to figure out other than how to sabotage him so they don't win with him as QB1? What other black quarterback to bring in? And what talking points to push out so people don't know we being racist? Because we really don't want any black quarterback to be QB1, not including Deshaun. There's a list of the worst NFL contracts that are out there. Deshaun Watson is not on the list. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So stay tuned for that.
Who do you really love? I mean, at quarterback?
Yeah.
I don't really love no quarterbacks in this draft.
No.
I was at the combine doing some things with the NFL and et cetera. And
did he say, I mean, I love Shedeur. He should be the quarterback. Why did he say that? Because he said it before. Why he don't say it now? Because he was doing some things with the NFL at the combine.
I had a chance to talk to some of the players and look at them and talk to them and see their physique and how they threw up close. And I wasn't blown away. I truly wasn't. Don't be nervous.
And not at one time did he say Shedeur should be QB1. I don't love any of those quarterbacks. The Browns already have a quarterback. Didn't bring up any of the things that Shedeur did. Shedeur is really getting a lesson as to who's real and who full of shit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. This is why his 20 million fans are his saving grace. That's why. Because he can't count on none of them. Maybe Emmitt Smith, that's about it. And a few others that are on the team that are starting to speak up and say really great things about Shedeur. But will it matter when it's crunch time? See, it's not crunch time right now. It's the off season. But when they get out there and they divide up the reps, and this time he going to get them because the blowback from last year, and he proves to be the guy, but then he got to rotate with the other guys, or they let him be the guy like they let Lamar be the guy, but they set him up the exact same way they set up Lamar. Then what they going to say? Are they going to stand up for him? See, God running this back. Let's see who stand up for him. Let's see what's different. We already know they want him to compete. We know the competition was nothing but sabotage and BS. So what you need to look for is the quiet sabotage that's already in the playbook that Monken had in Baltimore, because that's who his head coach is, right? The one that, oh yeah, I got this gift. I told my wife, I don't know. What is it? I guess him or his grandkids don't know how to use Google. It was a sign of respect. I mean, clearly he ain't gonna off him, right? Context, people. Context. All right, I'm heading over to the comments to see what y'all are thinking about all of this. Let's get into it. All right, welcome everybody. Don't forget, I put the links in the comment. I put them on the screen so you can see them. The Tesla fires, look into that, especially if you're a Tesla owner or know somebody that drive one, or you want to learn more about the lawsuits against Tesla with these crashes. Sounds similar to what happened with Dom's car. So if you want to learn more, check out the link. And then Shedeur Sanders CU highlights. We wanted to share that with people so y'all can check that out. And I have a snippet, I think, of Bucky's footage from the Browns game. Why did I use this snippet? Because Shedeur's highlights from CU are good, but go back and refresh your memory about his NFL highlights, and you'll see why people in the comments and why people are saying that the Browns are FOS. This kid is good, and they are depriving the fans of good football that's right there on the ground. There's nothing to figure out. You already had the number 2 defense. You know Shedeur and Harold Fanning Jr. are a dynamic duo. You know Quishon Junkins and the entire running back room is stacked. What else you need to figure out? You know Isaiah Bond is a good receiver. You could get another one. You know you need to get rid of Jerry Jeudy. What you trying to figure out? You're not trying to figure out nothing at quarterback. You have your leader. You have the best quarterback in decades. You have somebody that got you to the playoff hunt. What else do you want? Oh, you want him to be right. They should be forced to explain why Shedeur is not their QB1 and they haven't committed to him. The Browns should be forced to explain that because the behavior is nefarious. I've said it before. What's going on in Berea to prevent Shedeur from becoming QB1 under Kevin Stefanski was criminal. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Look for the quiet sabotage. So 2 links for you to continue the conversation and to learn more about today's topics. Welcome to the Flash Show. What She Said Sports. You heard? Facts, facts, facts. Hey, Faith, welcome back. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you, Ramont, for holding it down. Thank you, Tina, for holding it down. What's up, chat? How's everybody doing? Good evening, Crowley. Good evening, Nikki. How's everybody doing? Talking about what is that family friendly? No, it's talking about the Hawks. Faith has said is Magic City family friendly? No. No. It makes you believe that the Hawks only want to cater to men and women who like to go to strip clubs or dance in them. A lot of women don't even want their men going to strip clubs. So I understand that the player, the one that went to Harvard, because that's all I know, I can remember his name, thinks it's disrespectful to women. A lot of women don't want their men going to strip clubs. Ladies, in the comments, do you want your husband going to strip clubs? Fellas, do you want your wife knowing you go to strip clubs? Just asking. I'm just asking. And for the fellas, do y'all think it's disrespectful to women that the Hawks want to have Magic City night on Monday? And should I go and bring back some footage? I kind of already know. It probably ain't going to happen. I probably have a better chance of getting to Dubai sooner than going to Magic City Monday. Because no, I feel like you pushing strip club culture on people. And if they know where Magic City is, then they know how good the food is. If they want to go, they'll go. All right. It said Nick Cannon loves taking game from Coach Prime. It said, I'm glad that Pastor Keon Henderson was able to speak with the CU team live on screen at the CU auditorium. Oh, that's good. Okay. All right. And hey, how you doing, Sabrina? Welcome back. Welcome back. Sabrina, Tamika, Sabrina says she agree with you. You know, Coach Prime always brings somebody in where faith is. And I think I saw Pastor Keon Henderson at the end of last season, the beginning of the last season. So he's brought him around the team before. So they must still have that relationship. That's pretty good. It says, sorry, I love my sister too much to endorse or subscribe to such. It said, too rich for my blood. Seen enough of that already. Yeah. It said low vibrational for the Black community. Oh, that's a good way to say that. I like the way you said that. That's actually pretty good. Miss Pamela said that. What do you think? What do you think about that? That's considered low vibrational for the Black community. And, you know, when you go to the Hawks games, everybody ain't Black. You might be surprised that they not, you know, I hate to say it, but everybody not Black at the Hawks games. If I had one of my videos handy, I think it was a reel that I posted on YouTube when I was at the game, when they lost at the last minute. I was like, oh, no. It wasn't that many Black people. It was Black people around, but Not like you think. Not like you think. It said Atlanta is a big area. They have the vibe. Yeah, they do, but I don't know about that. Yeah, please hit the like button. Take a minute. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Y'all know in any minute now, they're gonna be like, what she's talking about over there, and fooling with the algorithm. I'm gonna fool around and get an app. That's what I'm gonna fool around and do. 136 of us. I already been looking into it. 136 of us hit the like button, right? So you know how that go. Tell my no. Who's that? C. Marie? Euclid? Oh, elucidate C. Marie. Shout out to you. She said, she said, that's a she. No, I totally agree. Who owns Magic City? It's a black gentleman, I think. I don't know his name. I think they call him Mr. Magic or something like that. Remember when Shiloh was in an episode of Power? They were at the strip club. He was pretending to be Coach Prime. That's where they were. That was Magic City, I do believe. That was a strip club. It's not family friendly, no. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think I don't necessarily think that they want that. It seems like they trying to move away from that, talking about date night, buy your tickets for date night, and they slash the prices. So, and they do the kiss cam. Now, I don't know if that's family friendly. They do the little kiss cam. We supposed to, couples be kissed with a little heart. They do that. Then they got all of the bars, all of the drinks. They real big on all of the drinks. You ain't gonna make it from one section to the other without a drink being advertised. And then that whole area, that's for the public upstairs, is bars everywhere. Then the VIP section, drinks, you get free sodas, but bars, drinks, good food. And then when you come downstairs, bars everywhere. Bars sell cotton candy. I get the cotton candy. I used to like their nachos, but they stopped doing the beef, and I don't. After the E-Files, I'm not keen on chicken no more. It's kind of hard to get past that. I haven't even been to McDonald's. So I used to like their caramel frap. Y'all know that because I posted on my way there. So yeah, a lot has changed. Including the Atlanta Hawks vibe for their games. It seems like they're trying to go for more of the adult upscale fare. And I think it's because tickets are so expensive. So I think they looking at it, come as a couple, and we'll bring in more couple stuff. But if you want me to come as a couple, I don't want to see no strippers. I mean, I don't. Magic City Monday doesn't appeal to me on a date night, right? It really doesn't. It doesn't. So I don't know. That's like a left turn. That was a left turn. Sabrina said I should go. Sabrina said I should go. Y'all think I might go. I don't know. I don't know. I saw him at the skate rink and I wasn't impressed. Maybe if I was a dude, I'm not. Because I was like, what is going on here? I was like, this different. I was like, this different. Gen Z. Gen Z, just like over there in Dubai, we was talking about it. They was outside under the missiles with a DJ. I'm like, should y'all be inside? Gen Z. That's what they trying to belong. It said, whatever you want to do, Nola girl, it's all right with me. Vermont said you could go. It said that was heavy. Yeah. It said, I love the speaking message from Pastor Henderson. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear or see that part. I might have to check that out tomorrow. Thank you for that. It say, I saw the car. Oh, you did? You did see it? It said, has been a concern with this vehicle for a while now. See, I didn't know that. See, this was good to share because I never heard that before. I don't drive a Tesla. I know a lot of people feel like black people shouldn't be buying Teslas. I know people really like them. I know Gen Z loves Teslas. Our cousins over in Nigeria and Africa, they love Teslas. But you have to educate yourself because they're not gonna tell you that. That's not in their best interest to tell you that. And when you read the lawsuits and they describe what happens to these families and these kids and these people in these cars and they're trapped in there, they become death traps. That's what it's saying, right? So, and it's not just one or two lawsuits, and it's not just happening. It said, I didn't know they trap you in the car. That's what the lawsuits are calling out. A lot of people didn't know. And unfortunately, when you crash and it catch on fire, it's too late for you to learn that. So this is, hopefully, if you have these cars, you know, or you're thinking of buying one, you might want to, you know, do some research. That's what I mean. If he was in a standard Toyota Camry, he probably would have caught on fire, number one. And number two, he probably would have got out. No other company's being sued like this. And remember, Tesla's not the only EV. So what does that tell you? It said the Teslas are known to drive themselves crash. Right. Because somebody was like, speed. I'm like, yeah, let's just wait and see. Because those cars were also having malfunctions. Something about when emergency vehicles come by with the ambulatory lights on and the EMS and the police and all that, the car will start following and crash. So again, I love technology. I consider myself a tech geek. But at the same time, you know, too much of anything is not a good thing. So too much technology can just be just as bad as not enough. You got to find that balance. So yeah, the Teslas are known to drive by themselves and crash. The self-driving mode takes over without activation. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. It said the battery for that car is $20,000 to get replaced. Is that pretty standard for that's pretty standard for EVs, right? Yeah, I thought it was. And I don't know if y'all know this, but if you drive an EV and you crash, it's total. I think it's total because the battery. So you gotta get another car. So and you can't run out of gas because the car is ruined if you run out of gas, or not gas, but what is it, the EV, the energy or whatever. It said yes, Tesla is alert lock itself in the car. Yeah, that's bad. It said Gilbert Arenas' son got trapped in a crash Cybertruck that caught fire. Right. And that's the issue. How frequently they're catching on fire, and two, trapping people in the car so they die. I mean, they're not trapping them in there to die. You know, that's what's happening. So that's twofold. The car catching on fire, or, you know, a lot of cars crash. I mean, I see car accidents all the time. The car don't burst into flames, right? And they don't certainly lock the people and trap the people in the car, and they can't get out. There was this one kid, it was horrible. He was in the car calling 911, and he died before they got there. He said, hurry, the car caught on fire, smoke was entering the cabin. He said, I can't open the doors, and he succumbed right there before the fire department got there. And the tertiary part, the third part, when it's on fire, the fire department has to know how to put that particular fire out. Why is that fire so different? Right? That's too much. You risking too much with that, right? You risking. You have to assume you will never have crash into anything, or nothing will crash into you. That's what you have to assume, and that's dangerous. That's dangerous. I think Shiloh drive one. I think Shiloh has the Cybertruck, right? Doesn't Shedeur have one too? Yeah, you might need to find something else. They said that's correct about Gilbert Arenas' son. It said, I don't want that much technology. Yeah, Faith, that's too much. That's too much. That's what I said. It's just too much. And it seems like it's working against each other, right? It seems like it's working against each other. And they said correct. Shiloh does have a Cybertruck. The government was giving rebates on purchases. Yeah, they have some type of $7,000 rebate. It said Tesla has been known to be a fire trap. It said, I don't know why people buy them. I didn't even know that. They probably didn't know that. They're not going to tell them that at the dealership. I don't know what kind of research these people doing before they buy these cars. I mean, I know to them they're pretty. I mean, you know, I like technology, but I mean, that's just like the Range Rover. I love technology and they full of it, but they also not good. They have to be repaired a lot. So you just got to kind of find something else, right? Find something else. So Tesla's the same way. My heart is heavy. Cannot for real to me. Yeah, it don't feel real just yet. It will though. I think when I saw the 3 of them quarterbacks practicing today, it wasn't 4. So yeah, it was heartbreaking. Today is the why and play. You have the care. You have the care. Oh, okay. Today is the why. It said he came in the year 2023 with Travis Shedeur and Cameron Summer Craig. Okay. To my Don, right? It said they need to dedicate the season to Dominic. It said, and I remember a black podcaster saying he needed to be a cornerback instead of a quarterback. I don't know why these people keep trying to move these kids off of their position. Did y'all know that, speaking of quarterbacks, did y'all know that, what's his name? Gibson? Q for 6, Quentin Gibson. Did y'all know he used to play quarterback? I remember him saying he chose receiver. I always wondered what made him choose. I think they will jersey and helmet in the locker room. Oh, that's good. That's good. It said adopted or not, this is painful. Oh, absolutely. Praying for dad and the family. Yep. Rest in peace, number 22. GM has electric vehicles. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of, I think, Kia, everybody has EVs now, right? Nissan, Honda, everybody has EVs, but they don't have this type of stories. That's why you have to educate yourself, right? And this was part of that today, because y'all might not know it yet, but you might run into somebody or you might see an accident. You never know, right? And I don't know if when these cars get into an accident, do they call automatically for help? Remember, like they have SOS in like the Escalades and stuff like that, the Cadillac products. Like, I hope they do that with everything else that they do. Hopefully they automatically dial 911 and alert to the location, because those cars have a lot of technology. So if you got to call yourself, that's crazy. Yeah, that's too much. It said this is giving me an awareness checkup. Yeah, shout out to you. That and faith, like you say, you might not want one or own one, but you never know. You might be driving by and see an accident, so you kind of instantly know, oh my God, let me call 911 and kind of park somewhere safe and make sure these people can get out or something, or just bring some attention to it, right? Because we didn't know. I didn't know this before today. I didn't know this. Shout out to Nick Cannon. Yep, I like Nick's Cannon. I like how he told Coach Prime, I really respect and admire you for the type of father you are. But what I understand, Nick is very involved in his 12 kids' lives. From what I understand, I've seen all the family photos that they take, and we're talking about beyond resources, like being present, right? And I really don't know why he had that many kids, but he did say his daddy was a pimp, so he could have been joking though. I think that was on Wild 'N Out, his TV show. Shout out to Nick Cannon and Coach Prime with the show or video. Yeah, that was the big drive. Yeah, that was a real conversation. Being a father is a blessing. Shout out to you, Ramon. It said, remember, absence make the heart grows fonder. It said, but your presence brings results. Big time. That's perfect. Big time. Big time. I never knew I had a relationship with my father. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. That's interesting, Tina. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. It said, Bucky is very close to all his sisters and brothers. I like how Bucky interacts with his siblings. He don't play about them at all. And Travis either. He is. They said he's very close with Travis. It said, "Ooh, I just remember getting a whipping all the time." Miss Pamela, that's all you remember, just getting a whipping? That's amazing. I like CP and Karuchi together. I do too. I do as well. I just think that, like her personality and, I just think the way she is kind of good for his relationship. Did y'all see the video where they were playing a trick on her, where Bucky was telling her Coach Prime had already left, and Coach Prime told him to do it, and he was standing outside and he walked in or something like that, and she just looked. I said, oh, she used to them. She didn't even flinch. She was just like, oh, so she used to them. So shout out to Karuchi. Nick has 12 kids. It is 12. Okay. Coach treat Nick like one of his sons and do the show. Yeah, I think so too. My father is a pastor. Oh, okay. Shout out to you, somebody's mama. Shout out to you. So your dad was a pastor. Any takeaways from being a preacher's kid? Let us know. Does it make them a better father when they're a pastor, you think? Emotionally present, like, people always talk about being a preacher's kid. Let us know. Karuchi give Coach Prime life. Yeah, he seems he seems youthful, not in a bad way, like in a good way, right? Shout out to him, and you could tell he loved. I'm like, he was seizing her, telling her something. I don't know what they was talking about. We're gonna have to get into it tomorrow, because something about the tea, and people kept saying people in Dallas only understand. And I was like, I hope Amber and other people from Dallas in the comments can tell me what the hell was he talking about. But he was standing so close to her, hell, I could feel it. I was like, oh yeah, he really into her. Yeah, he really into her for sure. Crowley said, my father passed away about 15 years ago. He was very much in my life until he passed. Oh, thank you for Crowley. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure you think about him often. It said, them folks must be afraid of what Shedeur is capable of. Yeah, women. See, that's the thing. What did Shedeur do for college football? Same thing he could do in the NFL. And unfortunately, it's not just Shedeur, but as we could see, like with Lamar, the humiliation was there, right? The sabotage was there. I would call his sabotage more quiet, but it was definitely there because people just didn't put it together, right? But then when you go over and you see it in Cleveland and it looks the same way, you're going to hear somebody say, oh, they did that to Lamar. Because we've already said, well, damn, what they doing to Lamar, they already did to Shedeur. So when Lamar said, you know, we practiced that and we worked on that in practice, I told my guys, let's be legendary. I was like, ain't no way that was coincidence. And Monken was there. And Harbaugh said what? The Browns were always there, which meant they played in Schwartz's face, which is why he left. They played straight in his face. And see, at some point, you playing with so many people, it's going to catch you. It's going to catch you. Somebody going to tell something, right? You're not going to keep the lid on this forever. And I know people going to be like, well, they've been doing it. Yeah, but not publicly, right? Not publicly. I didn't know about all of this. This is crazy. I'm like, you done rewarded Stefanski. You had Schwartz thinking he was the guy, but Monken was there all along. The Manning kid has been your choice all along. You played in Shedeur face like you played in Schwartz face. You made Shedeur think he was going to be number 2 overall when you thought you was getting a Manning kid in 2026. And now you think you're getting a Manning kid in 2027. So you just want to bring in a third black quarterback and people going to say, oh, you believe in diversity, when in fact you're keeping 3 quarterbacks on one team instead of them spreading out on 3 different teams. And you have it so that none of them will be QB1 because none of them will play enough games, which is the majority of the season. How many games did Shedeur play? 7. What's the majority of the season when it's 18? So he was 2 or 3 games shy, right? Not a coincidence. And Stefanski was content to let Dillon keep losing and losing. So it was a numbers game. They made it seem like Shedeur was only going to play 4 games. That was the plan all along. It said, remember, 12 is not thirsty. Facts. Facts. And that is what is saving him. Facts. Taylor, that's his name. Taylor Green. That's his name. Taylor Green. That's it. I kept saying Jalen. It's Taylor. T-A-Y-L-E-N. Thank you for that. So that's the kid they asked to work out as a wide receiver. He said, nope, I'm a quarterback. I was like, gotta watch this one. Gotta watch this one. I don't know if I wonder if he was out of eligibility. Maybe so. Let me see, because if he had something, he should have went back to school. That's why they was trying to get Trinidad out. Did he have any eligibility left? As at the end of 2025 college football season, Taylor Green has exhausted his collegiate ability. All right, so he just said, the hell with it. I don't have no more. I'm just going to come over here and let God do what he do. That's what you got to do. But you better know what it is, too. If this is what you're going to do, you better know what it is. And you can't say you don't know what it is right now. You can't say that. So we're going to see what happens. At some point, maybe the goal is just to be on the team. I don't know. But that's what they want Shedeur to get to. They just want him to get used to being on the team. They don't want him. They want him to be comfortable with a backup for the security. And that shows you how dumb they are. Shedeur don't need that kind of security. They talk about financial security. So it shows you they take advantage of people who don't come from wealthy backgrounds and devalue them and go, oh, shut up here and take this. Because it's not like you're not here for the money. So see, that's the difference. See, Shedeur is an anomaly in so many different ways, right? Black excellence, wealthy Black excellence, right? Not there to be a backup, exceptional, probably the best quarterback they've had in decades, the best quarterback that came out of last year's draft, this year's draft, elite, got them to the playoffs, was already in company with, some people they call the greats, such as, Tom Brady. When they had some stat comparisons that I still have of Shedeur and Tom Brady through their first so many games, and Shedeur was the better quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers, who they, want to keep around, even though he's a 2% battery lifer. And he told Mike Tomlin, I'm sorry, when they lost that game. That's why he was brought to Pittsburgh. So it should show you this is about racism. Only firing black GMs. No hiring of no black coaches. You didn't have any black offensive coordinators. So people was talking about you not having any black coaches. So they do just enough. It's like we're just comfortable with a C or a C minus. As long as we don't get a D and fail at it. We comfortable sliding in the middle and doing just enough. That's what it is. And people need to talk about that. Sometimes you may think you may not want to connect. It said, but the opportunity might arise. Oh, I think that's, oh, you're talking to Tina? Yeah, they will have a conversation. Pretty good. It said number 12 will be QB1 on day one by the way of footprints of the sand. He can be, but it ain't like that's where it ends. And that's what I'm talking about. It's that quiet sabotage you got to look out for. Lamar Jackson was QB1 in 23. Wasn't he QB1 in 24? In fact, he had one of his best years and should have won his MVP, and they gave it to who? And then there's 2025 set up again. So he was set up 3 years in a row. So he's still QB1. So is that enough? Is that enough? So we should just be like, well, he QB1. Screw the fact over they keep cheating. Which one is it, guys? Do we want them? Do you want it to be better, or do we just want it to be good enough? Well, he's QB1. Okay. You're going to see. The Browns haven't had a QB1 and I don't know how long. 23, probably Baker Mayfield. After him, it was bringing all these black quarterbacks and start rotating. None of them played enough games to be QB1. They had 5 in 2023. They had 5 or 4 in 2024. They had 6 in 2025. How many do you think they're going to have this year? They already have 4. Dylan, they're going to replace him with somebody. Then they're going to get a veteran or 2. So they probably going to have 5 or 6 because they already have 4. They're talking about a 5th. And then a 6th going to come in and replace Dylan. So 5. People not looking at that. These people are not going to do anything new. And it was to make you think because Monken knew things will be different. The owner is the same. The owner who had 4 people standing behind him. The first time they let Bucky film. And then when Shedeur got robbed, Bucky wasn't available to film. And 4 people robbed him. That owner. He's still there. There are no coincidences in life. It said Monken better not pull up Carson Beck. It ain't Monken, it's the owner. Monken gonna take what they give him. It said, I'm watching all of them. Yep. It said Ty Simpson has not played enough college football games to be really considered. It said he is a one-hit wonder struggling at the end of the season last year, and they don't care because he white. That's all that matters. It said AB gonna make the right moves in this draft. Did he make the right moves in the last draft? No. Shout out to you, coach. Later for the Olympics in 2026, 12 is really box office. He's definitely box office. And they seem to believe that that's his only value. That's their, and y'all cool with that? I mean, the likes and clicks got you in the door. And what happened after that? They showed you what? We could turn it on and turn it off. So they're still trying to get to you. They're still trying to get you to submit. They're letting you know we can control this. You don't control. You are valuable as likes and clicks. What did we talk about during this summer last year? We were like, damn, all they do is talk about Shedeur and his popularity. They don't talk about him as a quarterback. They were trying. And I'm sure what Coach Prime said, there are things that happened that we didn't know about. They were letting him know that we only value you as likes and clicks. That's what they were letting him know. And who knows what happened that we don't know about. Now, I don't know how he feels about that. I mean, God can take a mess and turn it into a message, right? All right. So I guess we're going to have to see what God do, but do not sit up here and fool yourself and think these people are not plotting against him because Monken is new. Monken is not new. Monken sabotaged Lamar and was brought to Cleveland to sabotage Shedeur. And Stefanski was moved, it's called musical chairs, to Atlanta to sabotage Michael Penix Jr. It's musical chairs, people. Same script. In fact, Stefanski called it a script. Yep, racism is taking over again. Yep, it never went anywhere. I blame Jimmy Haslam for the way Shedeur was treated. Absolutely. And the way they love to tell you things. Jimmy Haslam standing there with them 4 kids behind him. And Bucky was allowed to film for the first time. And when he got robbed, he wasn't there. That don't sit right with me. That don't sit right with me. It seems that he was trying to foreshadow some things. And he ain't psychic, just like Stefanski ain't psychic. And nobody bothered to ask, except for fans, what about these 4 kids? And nobody's saying it's those 4 kids. But was he telling what was to come and brought Bucky there to film it? And had him gone when the accident happened or the robbery happened, and then brought him back and stepped him up on the way back. It's kind of like they trying to tell you. Kind of like they trying to tell you. And that's what we got to work for? Wow. It's just not time for a new owner. In Cleveland, it's time for a new league. It's that there is enough money nationally and internationally who can make it happen enough. I agree. There does need to be another league. We have actually talked about that, and nobody ever seems to think about it. Like, seriously, like for the people that actually play, they seem content. Is that the right word to say that they're content? That's why they don't talk about start their own teams, leagues, etc. Are they content? Even though it's bad, are they content? Remember the video we watched with Johnny Manziel and the other guy who played for Cleveland and how miserable they were. And remember, they're millionaires and they were miserable. Are they content? Are these players content for whatever reason? That's why they don't talk about their own leagues. And white benevolence says that the people they work for don't even believe that they can do it. That would be enough to make me do it. Blueprint's already there. The QB from Arkansas need to stay his ground straight up. Hell, he did. He did. We're gonna have to watch him and see what's happening. That's what it is, Faith. It's just blatant racism. That's just straight facts. That's just what it is. It's just what it is. Shady shifting. That's what it looks like. Shady shifted. It says Shady has changed to the other side. Right. And what did you hear Shady say? What did he say? I was doing some things for the combine for the NFL. They found something for him to do. That's what it is. Destroying. They found something for him to do. Cam, they found something for him to do. They found him 2 shows to keep him busy. RG3, they found something for him to do. All of these guys that's this close and could put their brains together and form a league because they all got leagues anyway. All they got to do is go 18 and up with the same blueprint. They found something for them to do. Lord have mercy. So, yep, Shady shifting gears. And his nickname is Shady for a reason. It said, remember who podcast he on? Oh, likes and clicks for sure. It's Shady McCoy. I'm so disappointed. There you go. I'm like, really, Shady? So it shows you that when people speak out for Shedeur on the outside, we talking third parties, former players, they get to them. When people in the locker room speak up for Shedeur, they get to them. I'm like, crazy, bro. I'm like, can't nobody do nothing? I'm like, it's just bizarre. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll keep going and see what other truths come out. One thing I can say with him still being on the ground, we just get closer and closer to the truth and more exposed. Shedeur's highlights have people upset because it proves he's good and the Browns are sabotaging him. That the Browns are denying their fans the opportunity of good football because they can win with him. The Browns need to be forced to explain why they are not committed to the best quarterback they've had in decades. The records he broke says that that's who he is. Why it is the kid that this is this good in the NFL and in college is being shunned by the Cleveland Browns. A kid that proved his leadership is being ignored by the Cleveland Browns. A kid who won the competition last year is being forced to compete again this year. A kid that was sabotaged, instead of being apologized to and making things right, instead of being sabotaged in the open, he's now being quietly sabotaged. Shady always been a competition. Shedeur just got to win. No, coach, that's not cool. See, it seems like it's too many people okay with this kid being set up over and over and over and want to look the other way that he has to compete again. When y'all gonna stand up for the kid? When y'all gonna say out of your own damn mouth, he already competed and was sabotaged and it didn't matter. So why does he have to compete again? Why don't you want the best quarterback you've had in decades to be your goddamn quarterback? Why you don't want the quarterback who went toe-to-toe with Josh Allen? Same company with Tom Brady. Why you don't want him to be your quarterback? Why not ask the real question that need to be asked? What the hell is going on with the Browns? That they are shunning the best quarterback they've had in decades, that got them to the playoff hunt, that they can win with the number 2 defense. But now they want to blow it up and rebuild with this kid on the ground rather than for their fans try to win because they can. The owner said it. Oh, we could have won more than 5 games because you knew Shedeur was good because you pre-drafted him extensively. They don't talk about that either. They were going to draft him at number 2. That's why they don't talk about it. How can you draft him at number 2, evaluate him as a first-round prospect, and treat him like he truly is a 144th prospect QB talent? You know that's not true. So it's fraud. That's why they don't talk about it. And that's why they always gravitate to people who stand up for Shedeur and go find them something else to do other than stand up for this kid. It's sick. It's no different than what's happening in broader society. Who gonna stand up for all these kids that were eaten? Same thing. What's the difference? Abuse is abuse. Sabotage is sabotage. Luring people somewhere and manipulating and abusing them is the same. And it just goes to show you why in both, the shit's still happening. Because nobody will do anything. That's the times we live in. Nobody wants to do anything about some of the most heinous and racist acts, period. It's shameful. Sickening, to be honest. Yeah, Shady wrong for that. I like Shady, but he wrong for that. He wrong for that, bro. It's selfish. That's it right there. It's just selfishness. It's just selfishness. It's just selfishness. Just selfishness. I'm like, the one thing Shedeur can do is look around at how nobody wants to stand up or how they did or they used to, and the NFL found something for them to do and they were so easily swayed against doing what's right. Don't take them with you wherever the hell it is you're going. Because you're going somewhere. Because you're not being shown who people are for nothing. You're not being shown what this league is and how it operates and tears apart black quarterbacks and pits them together and isolates them in plain sight and sabotages them publicly and quietly for nothing. Yeah, Shady is not any better with these commentary than Acho. That's totally facts. That's big facts. That's big facts. That's a shame. That's a shame. You don't have nobody like that's just nuts. And all of these people speaking out, you can say whatever hell you want to, right? All the people, Shedeur is this, all the players on the bar, you can say whatever the hell you want to, but what you gonna do when the crunch time comes? Because we saw what y'all did in crunch time last year. Y'all set him up. Yep, you played right on into it because you was worried about yourself. That's what they do. Every season, they puppeteer them against black quarterbacks. That's just what it is. It ain't just happening to Shedeur. We just watching it happen with Shedeur. And we so far on the outside. Thank God it's 20 million of us. And it's probably going to be more people than that this year because people are starting to understand that something needs to be done. And in year one, nobody did any goddamn thing. And we see it be set up for year two for them not to do anything either. They just quieted more people on the outside. Man, just man. Shady is compromised. It seemed like it. It sure seemed like it. It sure seemed like it. That's just sad, bro. That's just sad right there. Oh, where is their case now? So Dustin said, where is Shedeur's case? Nowhere. I said I was waiting to see what happened after Dylan leave. Stefanski's gone, right? Let's see what happened after Dylan leave. So Stefanski left. He got fired on the same day the third person got caught. The fourth person got caught. They're supposed to be extradited back to Cleveland. Let's see what happened after Dylan leave, because he mighty quiet. And Andrew Berry has made it clear that he will be moving on to freedom. So let's see what happened when he gone. Let's see what happened. Because when you think about the picture with the owner with the 4 kids behind him, and I was looking at that clip the other day, it just popped up. I was looking at one video and it just popped up again. It pops up a lot sometimes on my YouTube. I don't know what it is. I didn't think I saved it. It's somebody else's video. One of them kids, the way he's standing, I don't think that's a black kid. I don't think that's a black kid. It looks like a white kid. You know, black people and white people are not made the same, right? Sometimes they have bigger calves. We have smaller thighs than they do. Sometimes we have really big thighs. I mean, we have smaller calves than we have really big thighs. Sometimes the way they stand, just the way we walk, right? It's given. And now understand this: if any of the 4 parties have been framed, it's gonna come out. Because I don't know how it is the owner puts that picture out there. Then you have the events with, okay, now Bucky get here. And then when they rob him 2 games later, Bucky not filming that week. And again, we don't know why, right? And then when Bucky comes back, he starts off the smaller, like pre-game stuff or whatever. It was different. And then he goes back to what he did before. So there was a change of events around Bucky's schedule as the robbery was happening, which is why when Coach Prime showed up, how many bodyguards did he have? I had never seen that many. So it means that they perceived that something about Cleveland was something. And how do you not investigate the owner of the team? How do you not investigate the head coach that sabotaged him and the owner of the team that let it happen? How do you not investigate everybody that worked there? Considering the sabotage was public. Because it's fixed. And why would it be fixed if they didn't have nothing to do with it? And who else had that kind of money to pay these guys to come up from Atlanta? And why Atlanta? Just like in the draft, Atlanta was a scapegoat. Are these guys scapegoats? Because their backgrounds and records didn't fit the crime that they were hired to commit. And the police said it. We know it was a robbery for hire. He didn't say, I don't know if he said we don't know who did it or we can't say who did it. I'm not sure which one he said. Or they said they couldn't prove it. All right. Well, the exposure will continue because shit gonna come out. This. You know, I don't know how far this gonna go, and they might drag it out for years. And if they do, it's because these guys, if they ask for a trial, they don't want to tell their story. Now I told y'all one of them page was pointing to the NFL, Oregon football, Penn State, Oregon football, the University of Oregon. That's 4 or 5 different pointing in one direction. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's a coincidence. When they were all 10, they all liked Oregon football and the NFL and Penn State. Daboll. They was trying to get him the job at Penn State. The NFL pushed Shedeur's information out there. Oregon football. Dan Lanning, Dylan Gabriel, Kevin Stefanski. Maybe it's a coincidence that when they was all 10, that they just all liked those schools. And it's on the page of the dude that was the driver who they caught first. Maybe. You change that 100 times a day if you want. You can change that data point 100 times a day. So I guess it's just going to have to play out. And if it takes years, it's because they don't want it to come out. We'll see. Atlanta's a small city. If nobody says anything, I find that interesting. Very interesting. He said they stole his beanie too. Did he say that? 20 million followers and counting. That's facts. Yeah, everybody need to be investigated. That's just what it is. That's just obviously that's what it is. And I wonder what Schwartz know, because he was so mad because they played in his face. See, that's what I mean. So you played in Shedeur face, you played in Deshaun face, you played in Schwartz face, you used Dylan as a pawn. You only rewarded Stefanski. You playing in Andrew Berry face, and he playing himself, and you playing in Bucket face. Whether people realize it or not, that's exactly what's happening. Look at the timing, look at the events. And he probably knows that, but at least he gets to be there to protect his brother. So you playing with 9 different people, including Myles Garrett. That's 10. Denzel Ward, Harold Fanning Jr., Wyatt Teller, Flacco, and Njoku. But you will take care of Batonio and Stefanski. And let's see who tight end 1 is. So I agree. The entire organization should have been investigated. And the fact that they closed the investigation and a 4th person was still out there was just different. So that tells you they were protecting something or someone. And I'm going to go with somebody with money and lots of it. Who don't want this information to get out? Who clearly doesn't like Shedeur, which is why he ain't safe. Because if I'm going to go through those extremes, I'm not going to stop because you still here. And guess what? They never talk about trading him. So we're just going to leave it right there. And we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. We'll be back. We'll probably pop up. I appreciate y'all liking my Dubai series. We'll just see what's going on tomorrow. Just in case y'all don't know, a few special flights were allowed to leave. We don't know who's on those special flights. It's about 6. Belgium, Dubai. I mean, not Dubai. Belgium and Mumbai. And Copenhagen were at least 3 of the 6 destinations. The other 2 were listed as various. So we'll see. And we'll check in with the people who we were following. Eddie and World of Wade, Destiny, and Mitchell, the other guy, Abram Mitchell. We'll check in with them to see where they are. They're the Americans that were stuck in Dubai. Okay, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.